Here we go. G'day, Stu from UAVfutures. I don't know why I said it like that, but thank you so much for tuning into our weekly live stream. Happy flying. Hopefully my audio is working, but this is where we get together. We talk all things FPV, so wherever you are around the world, thanks for tuning in. Grab yourself a cup of coffee, a drink, whatever it may be, a refreshing glass of water. Kick back, relax. We're going to be talking all things drones related, hanging out, having a good time. I can see a couple of people in the chat as well. Thank you so much to every single one of those little green names you see there in the chat. That means they are a member here on the channel. Thank you. That really does help support the channel as well. So I can see Johnny DRC, Crazy Rooster. We've had some couple of others in here. I'm sure we'll see lots more of the UAVfutures family in here, as well as some Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for tuning in. We've got a heap to talk about today. Hopefully the internet is going to work here in Australia. So we probably have some of the world's worst internet. We had some troubles last week, but I'm thinking it's all looking good this week. So let's go through what we are talking about. Johnny D says, hi Stu, all good. So hopefully we're talking about the audio there. It all looks like it's going well on stream. But coming up today, some FPV news, things we're going to be talking about. Of course, we're going to be talking about you, but I do want to talk about this radio right here. The basically the brand new legend on the block, or a very iconic radio, but the 2026 version, we have the TX16s, the Max, the Mark III. There's a lot of names, a lot of letters, a lot of numbers. We're going to be talking about this radio right here. Who's it for? Talking about it a little bit more. I do have a brief impressions video that I did, but we're talking about this. Got some nice little leather grips, as well as some other things that I only found out this morning actually about this radio. So we'll be talking about that. You'll have to excuse me if you hear any fans or aircon or anything kicking on in the house. It is insanely warm here, so I think the temperature is it's going to be at least 30 degrees Celsius plus. I don't know what that is in freedom units. We're going to be talking about and opening this on the stream, which is right here. I'm pretty excited for this one, actually. This is the Betaflight, the P1, or the P1 HD VTX, or I hope at least that's what's in here. Oh no, that's in here. That's in here. This is something else that we can also open on the stream. But this is the first time we can talk about this VTX, that it comes standalone to put in our other drones, so we don't have to fly it around. Thank you very much, ACG there. Very much appreciated for becoming a member. You're an absolute champion. I do really appreciate that. That's the same for every single person here who becomes a member. And you also get some bonus little videos that should be on my channel that are special just for those members to watch. I've got some other things we're going to be opening from BetaFPV. I have a sponsor that I want to talk about, the only sponsor that we have on the entire show. And guess what? It's not even drone related. I want to talk about these drones right here. This is almost like a very iconic stream, but this one's a little bit of sad news. If you know what this frame is, right here, got a nice little custom UAVfutures one here. So I need to talk about, I guess, the pedigree behind this and Impulse RC and some sad news around that after a decade in the hobby. So yeah, it's crazy looking at that now. We have power distribution boards. Kids these days don't even know what they are when it comes to building drones. I need to talk about this. I made a mistake here. Hopefully you guys can help me out because I got a new charger. But straight off the bat, see if you can tell why this is not really useful to me. So I'll just leave that still right there. Maybe you've got some suggestions. Of course, let me know wherever you are around the world. Let me know if you are flying, what the weather is like. What was the last time you went out and actually ripped some packs? Or maybe it is just pouring rain outside. Or are you like me and have some deliveries waiting in the post that you can't wait till some things turn up? And I also want to talk about this frame, actually, which we didn't get a chance to last week. And shout out to Nick FPV, because we're going to be talking about the Archetype. I can finally pronounce it correctly. It's settled in the brain right here. But I also want to talk about this and some experiences I've had with that as well. I got a full video of that coming. But wherever you are, the important thing is I want to say thank you. And we always start our stream as well as answering some of your questions. And I can see Kiz in here as well. We got RAFFPV. It's a pretty crazy name that you've got there. I wonder if that's official or not, but regardless, welcome. Wherever you are watching this, we will be talking about drones, but we always start off by saying to that one person who needs to hear this, and that is you. It is you. Even if you think I'm talking about someone else, I am specifically talking about you. If you can hear this and you can roll your eyes and be like, nah, Stu, you just say, no, I mean you. You right now thinking, okay, all right, I'm listening. What do you got to say? You are valued, you are cared about, and I really am grateful that you are here and you are seen, you are heard, and this FPV community, which is so incredible and so uplifting, life-changing, I'm so grateful that you are part of it, and I just wanted to let you know, to take the time out of this drone stream specifically for you, to say that I'm glad that you're here and you really are cared about. We all care about you, and just thank you. From one human to another, internet aside, this random Aussie person in Australia sending this through here to your ears just to let you know that you deserve to be valued. You are cared about. You are not alone. You are not isolated, and you are seen and you are heard. So thank you. Thank you for being here. We will be talking a whole bunch of fun little drone stuff, but we always start that off. And you can say, Stu, how do you know? You know, I know exactly what it's like. And if you're the person who is hearing this and it is having an impact, I've been in some places that have not been great in the past, and I know what it's like to feel a little bit down or very down. And thankfully, things are better now, but I've never forgotten. And that's why I take this time out of this drone stream to specifically say to you that you are valued, cared about, seen, and heard. And thank you for being here. And I'm proud of you for being here. Okay. Let's, I guess we should just start talking about the TX16 Max straight away, but let me know too, who is in the chat, where are you watching this from? I would love to see a couple of answers there. We'll also be talking about DIY FPV, if you don't know what that is. It is the greatest drone website on the planet, bar none. I challenge someone, fight me about that. I am not a violent person, but you'll be hard pressed to find a better drone website than DIY FPV. And that is not just because it is my website. I truly believe in what we have there for the community. Kids are saying next weekend, I'm competing in the biggest whoop race in the UK. I know I've spoken to you about that and his mental health and his realizations. I just hope anxiety doesn't get the better of me. And kids, I would say to you, my friend, that I do believe in you. You have come so far. You have been through, so much, and look at what you've done and how far that you have come. You should be proud of yourself. And everybody feels anxious. Everybody gets anxiety. But if it affects you a little bit more than usual, I guess some words to say is that you have done this in the past. It's not going to make it any easier, but there might be some self-belief in here that you can do amazing things. And just like when you were first entered this hobby, and I know what it was like for you, and you were like, oh, I'm a little bit worried about this, even showing my very first flights, and you did, and the community was amazing and supportive, and you were like, wow, I had such a good time. I promise you that our FPV community, better than anyone, is absolutely incredible. You will have an amazing time when you go to that event. And remember, it's not about your positions or having the best gear. It's about having the best time. And when you're getting together, flying with friends, talking drones, you're going to have an incredible time anyway. That's really how you should look at this. And to mention one thing that might help anybody out there who is heading to a race. I was watching a video, and it was actually on a rally race. And they were so stressed out about everything. You really can get caught up in the moment. And then they had to take a step back and say, wait, we need to enjoy this race. This is why we put all this time and effort into here to get to this race, to be in the driver's seat, to have sitting in the chair ready to go. That if you don't enjoy that part of the race, that's what is the point of all the other work that you put in. So kids, I hope you enjoy the race. I hope you have a fantastic time. And I'm sure you will, because the FPV community is amazing. I can see Happy Flyer RC in here as well. I actually would like to email you, Happy RC Flyer. If you could email me at UAVfutures at gmail.com. That would be, or you could just hit me up on DIYFPV. But yeah, UAVfutures at gmail.com. I would like to send you a message. I have a little bit of a plan, which is actually not drone related, but I know you're over there in the States. But let's continue with the first part, the first topic of the day, because you guys are incredible. You guys are amazing. Let's talk about this radio here. This is the brand new kid on the block. And I shouldn't say a kid. This is like the grandmaster that's gone away, done a little bit of training, and he has come back bigger, bulkier, stronger than ever. But what we have right here, this is the Radiomaster TX16s Max radio. And yeah, this is, I would say the original TX16s was a generational radio. Have a look at how good, there you go, you can see a nice DIYFPV little logo right there. But this right here is an outstanding radio, but I also don't think that it's going to be for everybody. If you've watched some reviews on this, please let me know what you think. And the first thing that I will say is this is like the pinnacle of refinement for a lot of pilots, that especially at this price point. There is a lot of expensive radios out here, but it is doing a lot of things that go above and beyond what a standard FPV normal drone pilot uses. But it is nice to have these options. It feels fantastic in the hands. It is a bit of a more solid, chunky radio. I guess it's the TX16. We know what that original radio was like. It was a very, very chunky radio. Let's put some stats on the screen, actually. Jumping over here. So this is what we've got. And if we look at the price, that's one of the things we can talk about straight away. $270, which is considerably more expensive than any other standard ELRS sort of radio or TBS radio on the market. This right here, it's expensive. And that means it's not going to be for everybody, but I don't think the price is crazy either. I am all about giving people, having the amount of options that we do in this hobby. It's fantastic. I'm all about value. I know when I was working for as a school teacher, and you look at your paycheck, and probably like most people in society, unless you're incredibly lucky or business has been incredibly lucrative, you look at it and you have to weigh up. Do I want to spend this much money to have this much radio, to how much fun can I have? And I always say it's not about having the best gear, it's about having the best time. Some of my best FPV experiences over a decade plus have been with this little radio right here, the Radiomaster Pocket. This is $60. This is my number one recommendation for people getting into the hobby. I love this radio. You're going to have an amazing time with it. But that doesn't mean that a radio like this is not worth it to some people. Some people want a larger radio. Some people prefer the full-size gimbals that are in here, and that is okay. And remember, there is no right or wrong way to spend your money. As long as you are getting something from this radio that the others don't do, that's it. No one else should be able to tell you what is the right radio for you. Take in all the information, find out what's important to you, and just get the right radio that you want to use. So some of the things I do like about this radio, besides like it is a bigger, bulkier radio. If you are interested in like transporting this thing around, that's not going to be for everybody. I'll put this down while I'm talking about it, actually. So we've got it on the screen right here. It comes in a bunch of different colors. It has incredible gimbals, which I don't think there is a different. This is in the Max version, so there is a different set of gimbals here. If you want it, there is also a cheaper version of this one, but this is like the fully tricked out version. This is from Happy Fly RC. He says, give a shout out to my buddy John B, who wants to get it and just needs someone to tell him buy it already. Look, it's a great radio. I'm going to tell you, if you want to get this radio, I'm about to tell you some of the features that you might want to use about it. It has a huge screen here, a power button, which is bigger than others. Let's do this. It's got one of the faster processors in here. If you already have a radio that does everything that you need, though, don't get it. Like, I'm sure people can say this in the chat. If your radio was working and do everything that you want, don't go buy a new radio because you don't need it. Like, well, I mean, that's the advice I can tell my friends. Of course, you do what you like. But I do really like how it turns on a little bit quicker.
Welcome to HDX.
Okay, pretty little loud thing there. It can do Gemini as well. It's got some flashy gimbals in here. We've got some fake carbon around the outside. It does have some leather. I think it's leather, or maybe it's leather. I'd have to confirm there if you know in the chat. It's got some leather right here. If you're a fixed wing pilot, this would be a fantastic. Of course, this is going to be great for drones, but what this is probably going to excel at a little bit as well, fixed wing. So if you want to fly around planes or wings or anything like that, you have so many switches and dials that is going to be great. And a little thing that is a bit different here on the back, you can see I've lost my camera. They're on to me, guys. This is okay, come on, don't do this to me. We need to GoFundMe for like Stu's streaming revamp. Let's see, bear with me while I restart not the computer, restart this. What I can do is this, just while I'm talking about this, we're just restarting our, here we go. Is it going to, there we go, I'm back. I don't know what's going on here. This streaming setup is a little bit old now, but this, yeah, plenty of switches and dials if you're going to be doing fixed wing. I can minimize this now. Of course, a big feature of this one, it is doing Gemini mode. If you don't know what Gemini mode is, that's essentially, it can do 2.4 or also the low band. So whether that be 868 or 900 megahertz, depending on what you're going to be working with, you can do your low band right here, and you can fly those both at the same time if you have a compatible receiver. Some people have the misconception that that gives you more range. That is incorrect. You are going to get further on low band than you are on 2.4. The reason that that is good if you are using and flying around both at the same time is you have extra redundancy. So if you lose within your, this is what I think the main advantage is, if you lose your 2.4 radio link, and you'd have to be in some sketchy situations for that to happen already, you can still have a backup that then it will switch to the 900. It doesn't work the reverse way, because usually if you are flying around and you lose your 900, that is quite out a far distance. If you're talking about range, your 2.4 is not going to be able to get that back anyway. But it is just a little bit of redundancy, and maybe a little bit more redundant against interference as well. So maybe you were flying around in a closer proximity to maybe some cell towers or something that is pumping out on a similar, like on the similar spectrum or similar part of the wavelengths. Frequencies is the word that I'm looking for. This will have the option to catch that. So that is a huge one. Inbuilt Gemini in here. It's not going to be for everybody. It's going to be for some people. Some people will really like that. The receivers are more expensive, although it's still pretty incredibly cheap. Yeah, I do like that it has a foldable antenna on the top. That's a bit of a must for me. It's so much better than the original boxes and stuff, which I think they used to break off. The other part, which I didn't know this actually until either I didn't do enough reading or it's not common knowledge, and shout out to Mads Tech, because, and I could be wrong, I don't know if he said in the back here that there is a different antenna which is for the other frequency. So if this is 2.4 on the top, whether you have your 900 megahertz antenna or your low band antenna in this handle. I didn't know that. I could have misheard him, and I don't want to perpetuate any false information. So I'm going to have to investigate that more when I do my full video review and breakdown of this. But if that's the case, I like that, because I used to worry, how can you have a single antenna that is tuned for two different frequencies? Antennas are pretty fiddly things. But if that's the case, it does make sense. So if we've got one in the back, one at the top. Some negatives that you're not going to like, or that I would like to change. Of course, it's a color touch screen as well. So where are we? Check this out. You know, you can go through. I'm sure it is. Yeah. So touch screen, those things, you can see them changing right there. HDX, it's got plenty of, like, it is covered in switches and dials, like 4 potentiometers. What's that? 6 switches. Lots of different buttons and everything across the front as well. However, why does Radiomaster do this? And if you could please let me know. Radiomaster, this is a great radio. What do people have, companies have against latching switches? That's all I want. Just give me. And it does come with some extra buttons and extra switch. These here, like some 2-position switches, whatever, would be fine. I want an arm switch right here. I don't think that's too much to ask for. It doesn't even have one for the left-hand side, like a latching switch. A lot of these are going to get broken and snapped off if you're careless with your radio. You throw it in the bag. I want it to be as robust as possible. Can we please just make this a latching switch? That's it. That's all I want. Literally I need 2 buttons. I need arm, for a latching switch would be arm, disarm, and my other one, can I please just turn that to, I have my beeper, and I have also my flip over to crash. That's it. So if my drone is crashed, I flip it into flip to crash mode, done. And then back to normal, nothing, and then go and fly. That's it. I need 2 channels. So if I could just have 2 switches here, which is why, for me, the pocket, like, that's it. That's the pinnacle of drone technology right there. I want that. I would fly a lot more of these radios if that was actually the case. Now, let's turn this off. a very bright screen as well. It's not going to be hard to see on a summer's day or if it's very sunny or anything like that. Do I recommend it? And this is where I would say to your friend there, Happy Flyer RC, there's plenty of radios there. Plenty of awesome radios. We have so many choices right now. If you fly fixed wing and you don't care that we don't have a latching switch and instead you've got all these traditional switches, great. This is a fantastic, high quality, feels good, awesome gimbals radio. You don't need it though to have a great time. It is one of the more expensive ones we've got in the hobby. Radiomaster has some things like this. You could even have a great time with this. This is $30 or $35. The T8L. Awesome. Recommended. You're going to have an awesome time regardless. But there's nothing wrong if you want this higher quality radio, you want something a little bit weightier in the hand, you like the leather finish, you want to get the high quality gimbals, and you're going to fly fixed wing with a lot of switches and dials. Sure, go and get it. There is no wrong answer here. It really just comes down to, if someone asks me for advice, do you need it? So hopefully that's going to help. I'd love to know too, if you're watching this, would you buy this radio? Do you want a latching switch? Is that crazy that drone pilots want a latching switch? Crazy Rooster says, a useful tip. I put angle mode on my I put angle mode on my momentary button switch. I can hit it if I run into a branch and get disorientated, and then I'm level again. Saved my quad a couple of times. Yeah, I don't do that, but 100% I can see people doing that. How many channels do we need? When you are flying, everybody in the chat right now, when you are flying, how many channels do you need besides your normal? You need an arm switch, an arm channel. What else are you going to use? Maybe a buzzer, flip over after crash, maybe a mode switch. How many do you need on your radio? I don't think we're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with some programmable buttons as well and 4 potentiometers. I don't know. Double Gaming says, I wouldn't buy it. I like my pocket. Another EUC says he loves his pocket as well. And Chris Croft says, I still have to try the T8L I won on the Christmas stream. Yeah, if you could let me know how that goes there, Chris. And if you are having a great time, maybe that you might find someone else too. If it's not as good as the current radio that you're flying, I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there who would like to try something on the T8L. Now, I should probably mention, if you've won a prize here recently, so shout out to Chris who won the T8L. I have a couple of messages in DIY-FPV. I think there was like 14 when I checked this morning. It has been a busy week doing school holidays and looking after the kids and everything like that while my wife is back at work. But I know that the winner of the Rising Sun radio, they got in contact with them. Shout out to Rising Sun. That was it was for a Boxer Crush or something, it was a high-end Radiomaster radio. So shout out to Rising Sun. I'm actually wearing one of their t-shirts and let's rep them. We had a shout out to Johnny DRC here who won, and I know he sent me a message. He won a Phaser FPV gift card. It was a little bit difficult though because he's over in the States and Phaser is here in Australia. So I know with shipping and everything, it doesn't look like that's going to work out. But Johnny DRC, I do really appreciate the emails and sending through, and I appreciate Phaser as well for trying to find some solutions to help the stream, help give back to you guys. So I'll have to find a solution for that one. I know that. What were some of the other prizes that we had? One turned up over in the States from, let me have a look here. And this was a bit of a nice story, actually, that they were really enjoying it. Let's see. This one was for Conrad, and he's been flying with, he had a Radiomaster Pocket Crush. So shout out to him because we had some Radiomaster prizes as well. So there we go. So some of the prizes have gone out. There is still a bit of a tricky situation when it comes to Caddx because the person and the contact that I was working with Caddx, some people want some Caddx prizes as well. It looks like that person is now working for another FPV company. So they've left Caddx. So I don't know where that leaves them. I've sent them an email and saying, hey, well, who do I contact in Caddx about this? That's up in the air. I do apologize for that. So we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, there are different prizes somewhere around the world. Some people enjoying them. Shout out to Johnny DRC. So his, because of where he was in the States, that didn't work out for him. And sorry if you got one of the Caddx ones. I'm not sure what's going on. I'll keep pressing them and see if we can do some things for that. Okay, let me, we got Sandy saying, Stu, I was watching your videos of the Wolf Pup frame review from like 10 years ago the other day. I want to build one with today's tech. That was a long time ago. That was a great frame. We're going to be talking, actually, that'll probably lead us into the next topic, talking about frames from the past. And the entity says he needs 10 channels at least, potentiometers for VTX, power, flight modes, tuning modes, nav settings, return to home, lights, and head tracking. Okay. I don't use any of that. And if I need to change my VTX channels, it's probably going to be doing through smart audio, or that's what's cool about HDzero as well, doing some things through I guess any of the digital systems, you can just change that with your headset. And Happy Flyer RC just being very, very kind right there. He's saying, hey guys, let's hit the like button. If you are watching this, I don't even know if the like button does anything on YouTube. So press it now and we'll see if YouTube is like, hey, actually, yeah, let's reward that. Is the pocket crush housing as smooth and slippery as the standard clear? No, it's not actually. It's probably, I can answer that. This feels like the same plastic as the pocket crush. This translucent one of the earlier pockets, I think feels a little bit nicer, but like, you know, not so much of a deal breaker anyway. I just happen to really like this one. Unfortunately for me, that power button that broke off in here, I've got to fix my little power button. I am getting annoyed at having to use this when I'm trying to turn this radio on. Okay. And then I'll answer Kiz's questions, and I would then like to talk about, I guess, a little bit of sad news, but you guys can let me know. We've got Donnie FPV here as well, and shout out to Donnie FPV if you don't know who he is. I'm going to put his... Actually, Donnie can do it because it looks like he's a mod here on the channel. I don't know what that blue icon means, but you should be able to post your channel here, Donnie. You're doing some really cool stuff, and he, like Kiz as well, has done a lot, and I think FPV has improved all our lives, and it's been such a positive experience. Hopefully it's not too cold over there in the States. And the Duke saying, what's the difference between the Radiomaster TX16s Mark II and the Mark II Special Edition? Are we talking about the older ones? Right here, this is what I don't like about. Let's have a look at the radios. Jumping over here to screen share, and look at this. We've got so many. Is the special edition just a JB edition, or is it like a customized one when it comes to the Mark II? Or do you mean the Mark II and the Max? Because I can't see one that's called a special edition here. The difference here, I would say, is the gimbals between the Mark II and the Mark II Max. This is still a $200 radio. I don't know. This is pretty old right now. And if we have a look at the radios and the Max, let's have a look at the gimbals. Here you can choose the AGO1 gimbals. Oh my gosh. Look at that price. Don't buy this radio. Like, there's better options now if you're going to be spending that much money. Like, I mean, if you're getting it secondhand, sure. What is the Mark III? So the Mark III here, well, we've got a color screen here for the Mark III, and it's doing Gemini inside. How much is the Max? And of course, you'll see the nice fancy gimbals on the Max version. All right. Minus 27 degrees. That's in, I don't know what that is that's in freedom units. I don't know what that is in the rest of the world there, Donnie. I think there's only like three countries in the world that use the American measurements. Happy Flyers RC says, Stu, I'm setting up a new Whoop carry box. What is the smallest ELRS transmitter? Any recommendations for smaller in the pocket? Yeah, that's this, Happy Flyer. This is way cheaper too. Well, not way cheaper. Look at this, the T8L. 35 bucks. Easy. It's either this or the pocket. If you go any smaller, I wouldn't recommend anything smaller than this. And there is nothing in this price range that comes close to what this does. So take that with, I mean, there is cheaper radios out there. they will feel garbage to fly in comparison to something like this. Remember, it's not about having the best gear, it's about having the best time. You can still have an awesome... I have had some really fun times with cheap toy radios from Walmart, or we call it Big W here in Australia. You can have some great time with toy drones, but if you want to get a little bit more serious about FPV, I would recommend this. Minus 32 degrees Celsius. Oh my gosh. Whew. It's like the opposite here. I'll tell you what it is in Fahrenheit right here. Give me 2 seconds. Right now here, we're at 85 degrees in freedom units, so 85 degrees Fahrenheit. It's hot. It would be nice if we could just swap some air temperature right here. So we'll take, that's 29 degrees in my Celsius, the rest of the world to understand. And Wine Jumble says, I want a gamepad style radio with a color screen. The best choice, like, and how much money do you want to spend there? Windy, please let me know. With a color screen as well. Why do you want a color screen? Answer that question. I'm going to help you because I care about you. And this goes for any, if you've got some questions about like, hey, I want to get this, let's break it down and find out why. And in a moment, we're just going to talk about Impulse RC. This is for Wind Jumby. I'm just going to call you Wind. Why do you want a color screen? Because when you're flying around with FPV, your goggles are down. You are not going to ever look at your screen. For standard, typical drone flying around with my friends, I'm at the park, I'm at the races, we're racing around with our drones. Even something like this, once it is set up and ready, you don't need to look at the screen on here. This doesn't even, this doesn't even have a screen, and you can have an awesome time with this. On the flip side, we've got a radio like this. Amazing, big, beautiful color touch screen.
HDX.
You're not going to like use this when you are flying. Let's skip this warning. You're not gonna. It looks cool. It's great. It does make it easier to set up, but it might not be worth doing that. So it's all about why do you want one? And he's got a great answer here. He says for maps and cool Lua scripts and long range waypoint missions and INAV. Yeah, okay. So that is not our normal typical FPV flying around with our friends. Having a color screen like that is great. I don't think there is really one that is a gamepad style with a big screen like this. This would be a great solution for you. Hey, I've just realized we're in for a, you know what? I'm going to save this until, you know what? Let's, oh, I need a special occasion to peel this sticker off right there. I'll dedicate it to someone in a little bit. We'll see what happens to peel that protective film off there. Okay. Let's talk about some sad news. Well, I guess sad for FPV. It's not sad personal news or anything, but if you might have heard, Impulse RC has closed down. If you don't know who Impulse RC is, well, they started like a big portion of this hobby way back in 2015. I did a little post about this on my channel, and a shout out to here. A group of Australians got together, made an awesome designed frame that was ahead of anything that we had really seen at that time. They worked a lot with Mr. Steele, with Final Glide. If you don't know who Final, like we are talking about the first winners of the ever National Drone Cups, and the first real time that FPV got together and had some sort of official part of the community, which was the first ever world drone race, was in 2015. It was won by an Australian. It was won with an Australian frame. But they did a post the other day saying, hey, after over a decade in the hobby, we are exiting. We've got their little website right here. If we jump over, and I went to it. It was live. It was still up a couple of days ago. You could still see like aliens are coming because they had an alien frame. That's what their first real big frame that everybody got. But it is no longer. This is all we're greeted with now when we go to Impulse RC. Hopefully this website stays up. They are the people who gave us also, which you might use on a daily, not on the daily, but a lot of people around the world will use it daily. The Impulse RC driver fixer, which has helped a lot of people when they're trying to get their drone to recognize over the COM port when it comes to Betaflight. I've got a couple of those files saved, so if it ever disappeared, I'm sure we could get it back somewhere, but shout out to them for making that. After more than a decade serving it, they have to close Impulse RC, and then it just gives them a little bit of a history. When they launched back in 2015, they had no idea what it would become or what it would do, or they'd be shipping original parts almost a decade later, and that's thanks to the community we've got. And then if you've got a serious business inquiry, you know how to reach them. To every pilot who flew an Alien, an Apex, or any of our frames, thank you. It's been an honor to be part of this community and to play a small role in the golden era of freestyle. So yeah, I thought I'd just take a moment to say shout out to Impulse RC. I've got some of their frames right here, which is, and so this one is, this actually came, I don't know if this was like I can't even go back and have a look now because the website doesn't show the stock or what they used to have. I think this was called like a mini Alien, and it actually came as like a little, with a little plaque underneath it that said UAVfutures. It's a really, I don't know, a little piece of history here that means a lot to me. A lot of these new pilots won't know the pedigree that is behind here. And then I got this one. So I think this might be the Apex that they are talking about. And this frame, when it turned up, this is kind of like a one-off, a little UAVfutures edition that they sent me. I liked it so much that this might be the wrong, I didn't want to build it. I didn't want to break it. It's just a great frame. And you can look at the design. It hasn't changed too much from when this came out. Now, this might be 2017 when this started to come out, maybe 2018 for this. This is a bit of an update on their Alien. But yeah, this right here, a piece of history. Look at that. We've even got a power distribution board down the bottom. If you don't know what that is where our ESCs and everything, you used to have to wire your battery directly up to this and then wire your ESCs up to here, and you had individual ESCs on the arm. Building a drone was not nearly as easy as it is today, which is basically plug and play. Just connect your power lead and then just almost everything else plugs in. There was so much more tinkering that went into building some amazing craft. And yeah, this is also too before like TPU and 3D printing was really taking off. This is the best that we had. A great frame. It's sad to see them disappear, and that kind of has happened to a lot of the people that have come and gone over 10 years, and it shows the changing landscape of FPV. And they talk about the golden era of freestyle, because now a lot of people, it is harder and harder to find people putting in the time and the resources to make unique custom frames, which are often a little bit more expensive, or a lot more expensive depending on what version you're going to get and who you're comparing it to. You're just going to one of the generic bind and fly companies out there, which, look, they're not terrible, but like just say a Flywoo Nazgul, oh, I might as well just get that and rip that around. So yeah, I don't know how I feel. Like I've seen this company and enjoyed this company and appreciated what they've done, and now they're no longer here, and I don't know. It's a little bit sad. Shout out to anybody who's been around the hobby for a long time. Let me know how long you've been in this hobby for. Have you built your own drone? Do you usually just buy bind and flies? Are you still into whoops? Like, it's changed significantly to what it was a decade ago. Yo, Anthony's here, and he says he's got his beat up Nazgul for like 3 years. He can't kill it. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a Nazgul. It's just how it is. Catalyst Machine Works, Armiton Chameleons, these companies that like we're going back almost a decade, really changed what our hobby was about. Like frames. Frames were a big deal 10 years ago. Nowadays, it is very, very hard to have an impact in the frame market, especially a carbon fiber frame. And Mike's been in since 2014. I think that's like when I started, or maybe I started at the start of 2015. I don't know. I got my first Apex last year. That's from Donnie there. Great quad. I hope you enjoy it. I don't know what that means for spares or anything, so yeah, I just thought I'd give him a little bit of a shout out here. What a roast for iFlight. That's from No, iFlight makes great stuff. I like the Nazgul. I've recommended the Nazgul tons of times. It's a great quad. It just doesn't have, there is something special about a design that is a real work of art and love and not mass produced. I don't know how to. Work of art is probably the best part. There is a reason why people like I don't know, somebody who builds something with traditional woodworking tools and hand tools versus something that's made in a machine shop, the products might be similar, but there is an appreciation to the craft and the art form and the work and the dedication that go into somebody building something with some hand tools versus something that is mass produced. ACG Jeep saying, newbie here, 8 months since first flight. I've built 4 quads and I love building them. And Crazy Rooster started in 2017, he's saying. Yeah, so that's it. And look, Fat Shark's a good example. Whatever happened to them? So this flying around with Impulse RC, and now Fat Shark doesn't exist. We used to have Onway. It is a changing landscape. It's a difficult landscape to be in FPV. I'm very grateful that I am still here, and that is with support of people like you guys, people who watch the channel, tune into the streams. Sometimes, like we've had today, some people decide to be a member. That makes a huge difference when it comes to supporting me, being able to make this content, to share FPV with as many people around the world, get them flying, help them, and also build resources like jumping over to look at DIY FPV. Things like, when we have a look, this is like, you know, working on things like the builder or our FPV goggle comparison, you know, having tools like this that we can use, catalogs that we can search. This is for you guys. This site is everything that I wanted for the community that there wasn't when I started. And that's because if you remember, if you support that and believe in sharing FPV with other people, I want to say thank you. It's your support that we can get this sort of stuff to you guys, work on it and deliver what our community deserves to have to change people's lives. And that's it at the end of the day. That's why we do it. So FPV can change people's lives, and like that's it, to change people's lives in a positive way. Also to shout, I should say, to the DIY FPV team who has put so much time, resources, and money into building an amazing website like this for people to use. So yeah. Okay, I want to talk a little bit. We're talking about some unique custom works of art. Just catching up on the chat. Well, that's also a problem. People don't really like to pay more than $100 for a 5-inch frame. Anthony's saying it's all in the soldering, and he remembers, and this one's from Sandy. I remember my first build was the flight test electro hub. That sounds old. Other people flying the Mob 6. And looking at postage size stamp screens in our yeah, so much has changed in FPV. Yeah, sure, Kiz. Let me just, I don't know if you can send me the link, or I don't know if you can post links in here. Here, let me help you. Hang on. Does that help, Kiz? You might be able to post a link there. You should be able to do that now as a Discord, not a Discord, as something. Yeah, we can absolutely give a shout out to a YouTube channel that's helped you. All right. Talking about custom works of art, custom frames, if you want to get into FPV, sometimes you don't want to buy a generic cheap frame from one of the big manufacturers. You want something that somebody has crafted and put a lot of time and effort and understanding into. If you're into freestyle, boy, do I have the frame for you. Check this out. This is made by somebody in the community that you might have heard before. So Nick FPV, he has an awesome YouTube channel. I'll be able to link that down below as well. But this is their archetype frame. So shout out to the Aussie frame designers out there around the world. He hand delivered me this, and it comes, I've got another version right here. So I'm going to be doing a bit of a giveaway as well. I've got I think this is the blue version. There's a couple of different colors, but this is what you don't get every day. When you open this, it comes so nicely presented. It did feel very, very special. But yeah, I took this for a rip, and this is such a nice refined frame, but it is not for 5-inch. It's actually for 4.5-inch. And we had some really light props on here and some light motors as well. So it had a really quick spool up time. It felt really snappy. Everything's been chamfered down. You're not going to cut yourself or anything like here. There's a lot of little design choices. So this carbon little part here, like this tooth at the front, and a big aluminium cage on the front, it's going to protect your camera, or it's going to hopefully protect your camera. Maybe if you smash directly head on, if your camera sticks out the front, it's still going to be a bad time. And I watched a discussion where Nick was talking to Chris Rosser just about what is important in a frame, and they spoke about like some resonance or vibrations across here when you're flying. And I have to say, trying to get some prop wash or trying to get some vibrations or oscillations when I was flying around this, it was like non-existent. So you're going to see a video coming up in just a little bit on this. I will post a link actually in this live stream chat, because the big one that people are going to be like, oh, it's $100. So we just had a discussion about people, do they want to pay $100 for a frame? So I just put that in the chat right here. And jumping over here to screen share. So this is it on DIY-FPV. And yeah, so you can go check it out there. It'll also take you to Mantis, which is an Australian store right here. But yeah, it's a nice frame that I would recommend for people who are serious about freestyle, want to support somebody that is designing something that, like an artist. That is how I would describe this. So I will have a video coming soon. I will also be doing a bit of a giveaway because I've got two here. I don't need two. I want somebody else to enjoy one, but I don't have a 4 or 4.5 inch freestyle quad to rip around. So I can't wait to build this up. The one I flew was 4.5 inches as well. So yeah, go check that out. What camera system is it really built for? Well, you are going to get the most protection using the smallest camera that you can. So it comes with some TPU mounts. We might even be able to show you that. Actually, the one I flew, it had the DJI in there, but look, you could put any. Let's visit this site. Now remember, this is in Australian dollars. Well, there's 4 left here. Where is the TPU mount? Here we go. So using this, you could probably 04, 03 analog and walk snail. So you can put quite a lot in there. I think it's about 160 grams. Where is the weight? Oh, there we go. It's right at the top. 150 grams. Yeah, a cool drone that's made by an even cooler person, dare I say. So I had a blast flying around with Nick FPV as well. And look, I don't even have an affiliate link for this. There's no like kickbacks or so. This is just me saying, hey, this is a cool frame. Go check it out. We've got one to give away that, you know, shout out to Nick. He didn't have to do that. He's like, hey, yeah, absolutely wants to give one away for the viewers. So that's for you guys. That video should be out soon. I do have to finish some things as well. But yeah, I've flown it. It's cool. And I can't wait to show it to you. But it's not going to be for everybody. And let me know what sort of pilot you are. Do you prefer just to get the standard, generic, stock things from like iFlight or maybe a pre-binder fly? Or do you appreciate having something that's a little bit of like craft and love and art put into it, into a design that the community will use? Okay. Cutting frames has tripled in price in the last few years. That's from Johnny DRC. And Jose is going to go and he's going to rip his quad for 5 minutes before the sun. He's got some golden hour right there, so he should be able to get some really, really cool shots. Got some other people tuning in from California. Billy Bob says, nope, $100 is insane. So there we go. He's somebody who prefers getting some things from iFlight. And there's no right or wrong here. I can absolutely see there is a reason why luxury goods exist, because people can be really passionate about something and that can be different to value. That is probably on par with things like this. You will have a great time with this radio. You will have a great time for this radio. And there is no right or wrong when getting into the hobby. Probably something that people don't understand as well is, if you have been in this hobby for a long time, just how much prices have dropped for a consumer getting in, and just how much more difficult it is for margins, or I guess vendors and stores, to be able to compete and make a profit. Back in the day, $100 was probably a pretty standard price for every single frame that was out there. And vendors would definitely make them. The margins are probably more tricky than ever with trying to survive in FPV. And ACG says he would rather give someone more money for the care and the effort than the bulk cheap company with no soul. Yep. And then thanks so much anyway for tuning in there, Angel. And quality costs money. Small batch stuff small batch stuff is going to be more expensive. Yeah, like that small scale stuff. Like there's 4 in stock here on the website. Or I think it said 4. Cool. Alrighty. Jumping over here, let's have a look. Where are we? And then chamfered edges, nicely machined and anodized aluminium parts, all at an extra cost worth it. Yeah, you know what was crazy too? This, I didn't know. Like, I was like, this can't be TPU because it doesn't. It's actually being treated as well. So I don't know how they get all those TPU lines out. I'm not a 3D printing expert. These 3D prints, they've gone through some sort of process which has removed a lot of the is it called a striation? I don't know, like a lot of those marks that go back and forth. Anyway. Kiz is saying some nice things right there. I'm so proud of you, Kiz, and so proud of Donnie as well. Like, I'm so proud of every single person that is here in the chat. All right. I would like to, looking at the time, and I did say I would talk about this on the stream. I need your help, actually, because I better do this one. I made a mistake and I need your help. So I recently said, yeah, I'll do a review of this charger, and this turned up. I was not really paying attention, and I'm hoping that you can help me right now, because this is from SkyRC. This is the NC3000. I needed something to charge my 18650s a bit better than the dinosaur solution that I've got downstairs. I didn't read this correctly, so I apologize. So this is my review now that I'm talking about it, because, have a look. Get this box out of here. The 18650 charger that I wanted to do a video on. It's not made for 18650s. It's made for AA and AAA batteries. That's dead to me. I don't need that. So I apologize. Here's my review of the SkyRC A3000 charger. It is probably great if you need to charge some of your batteries that are AAA and AA. That is not me. I thought this was an 18650 charger. SkyRC, shout out to them. They make some great things like the Quad Duo and the SkyRC 2000. I've used them for almost a decade. I've never had any issues with my SkyRC chargers. It charges by USB. That should have been a bit of a giveaway if I had have actually read the description a little bit more properly. Let's have a look here. Because it's also not cheap. It's not a cheap charger. So it is, jumping over here, look, here it is right here. This is 190 Australian dollars for a charger. And when I first looked at this, I assumed like, oh, it fits 18650s and some AA's. Okay, no, this is a AAA, this is a AA there. So let's have a look what it can do. This is my review of this, that I made a mistake right here. Here's its stats. Great. I don't care about how heavy it is. Input power, 65 watt. I don't know what that means because it's by USB-C, and we can only take those batteries. Great. Who's going to buy this? It's a lot of money for a AA battery charger. I'm sorry. That's it. That's me saying sorry. That link's going to be down below. If you feel like spending 190 Australian dollars on a charger for your AA batteries, maybe I would ask the question, how many batteries can I just straight up buy that I don't even need to recharge for $190? The answer is probably quite a lot. So that's what I'd do. That's not environmentally friendly though, but maybe the use case for this is you have a lot of rechargeable AA's that you use all the time. Sure. The rest of us, if this was 18650, it would be different. I don't understand. I'm just trying to, no, an 18650 wouldn't fit in here. So, oops, I apologize. That's my review of this charger right now. You guys just saw it live. Link's going to be down below. I made a mistake. Let me know if you want me to send it back, or we'll figure something out. Okay, the last thing that I would, I still haven't opened this as well. I'm running out of time just a little bit. I'll have to talk about that in a little bit as well. I do want to give a shout out to Kiz. He's saying for anyone who's suffering from mental health issues, he highly suggests following Healthy Gamer GG. So I have seen some of his videos, I believe. They talk about a lot of neurodivergent things. They talk a lot about ADHD. There's a lot that person seems to be quite an intelligent individual that has some sound advice. So yes, go check them out. Donnie's, I think he's giggling that I said yes to a review and it was the wrong sort of thing that I wanted to review. And just catching up on the chat. Looks like it might be somebody's birthday. Did I miss that? Digital saying he's getting, is inside getting smashed from the snow. I am melting here. It's 85 degrees freedom units, about 30 degrees Celsius. Did someone make a drone run on AA's? And I think Donnie was talking about the West Side built one on a DeWalt drone. And then Bags is saying about his sad about Impulse RC closing down. He's also got a Luma 5 frame. I do want to check out I've got a Luma t-shirt actually, which I can't wear anymore because I got everybody to sign it when I went to the best drone day of my life, which was, or best FPV week of my life, which was the Queensland, it happened here, the National Championships of Drone Racing 2025. And I was like, oh man, I want people to sign this. And now I can't wear it anymore. So it's a cool t-shirt, but I don't want it to get dirty and I don't want to have to wash it and lose those signatures. Bit of a catch-22 here. Okay, let's talk about this. I am looking at the time. You guys have been amazing. Thanks so much for everybody who has tuned in. Just to let you know, you are appreciated. You are valued. You are not alone. You are not isolated. You are part of this amazing FPV community. I want to take the time out just to say that. Thank you for being here. Thanks for all my members as well. If you're one of the members or you would like to become a member, that helps support the channel. That really is like the lifeblood. Without your support, I could not be here making these videos for you, building things, working on getting other people flying. So shout out to any single person you see with a green name and to let them know that, hey, they are helping this stream happen, to share this information, to talk FPV, share our hobby. All right, now, this turned up. And I'm not going to run and get a pair of scissors right now, actually, because running with scissors is not safe. And it's also about time, looking at the time here for the stream. This is the P1 Air Unit. So this is from BetaFPV. And I am stoked that this is here because, if I can show you a little bit of a screen share, this is $38 for a VTX, like your VTX, your antenna, and your camera. That is insanely cheap, and it does come with some limitations. However, when I flew it around, and this is the same VTX that is in this is the Aquila 20 HD drone. The drone itself, whatever, that's not the important part. The actual system that is using here with the ArtLink that's inside, it's great. So someone's saying open with your teeth. No, you should never use your teeth as a tool. There's a bit of Uncle Paul's advice right there. But this, you can see exactly what it is on the screen. It's a very lightweight VTX. You're going to need some of the new ArtLink goggles here, or the VR04 FPV goggles. They're $145. But what makes this exciting is it's our first step to compete against the Caddx Ascent system at cheap digital FPV. It's not going to be for everybody. It's definitely going to have some range, latency, like their image quality versus some of the big players out here. It's not going to be as responsive as HDzero. It's not going to go as far as DJI when it comes to penetration. You're not going to do the insane long ranges of the Caddx GT Mark II or whatever it's going to be. This is just cheap digital flying around, and I couldn't be happier. So I'm going to put that in a quad. hopefully in the next couple of days, sometime later this week. We'll fly it around. I'll let you know how it goes. And I'm really excited because I liked the system when it was in this drone, but it takes some skill to differentiate between, let me jump over here, reviewing the link versus reviewing the drone. So you need to separate these two. I'm going to be able to do that much easier when it comes to flying around this here. And this is, I don't think many reviewers, or I don't think this is spoken enough about enough, but when you're in my position, I can fly everything that I would like. I can fly any single system that I would like to. I have access to any drone, any VTX, whatever I want to use and fly around. And it is easy for reviewers or people in positions like myself to forget what it is like for the base user coming in. They've got to go and buy this thing, and what are they going to get? What are they going to have a great time with? And that's where a $35, $38 VTX has a pretty significant impact. So that's, sometimes I see this with tech reviews when people look at like phones and everything, and they'll break it down and they'll sort of complain about some features. And like, but that person's using the like the top of the line phone every single day as their daily driver. So for me, I have to remind myself that, look, I can fly top of the line things every single day, but what makes me excited and what I am passionate about is getting you flying. And yeah, I think that's where we've got some options like this. I'm stoked to have a $38 digital VTX that's going to get people flying. Let's see. Kiz says he's in the process of finding out that he's a bit different, but it's okay. And it's how to use those differences for good. He's got some positive self-talk there in the chat. Chris Croft says might be good for FPV cars. He wants a 100 FPS version and a VRX. Yeah, I agree. If we could get a VRX on here, or like so we don't have to use those goggles, that's another step up. Price is king to those who are poor. That's from Happy Flyer RC. I think price is king for, it doesn't have to be, it's not about your socioeconomic status. I think price is king for a lot of people who logically look at something. So you can say, hey, I can complete my objective here for half the price of that other one, but get 80% of the way of completing it. Oh, maybe that's a much better choice. So it's all about, it's not about being poor. People just don't like to waste their money. That's probably the big one. And I think price is definitely key for not just if you're financially like, I don't know, have less money to spend, but prices even for, if I was insanely wealthy, I absolutely would still be like, yo, let's we don't, do we really need this? I'll give you a good example. I would say I am the average typical person when it comes to like, you know, wage, all that sort of thing. We're talking about like, oh, how much money does Stu have here? Just a standard family in Australia. And I drive one of the worst cars out of any single person it is like a 20-year-old little Toyota Corolla. And it's got like all scratches, all the paint is all flecking off the side. It's got roll down windows. I love that car. If I was a millionaire, I would still drive that same car. So sometimes it's just about like, does it do what we need? And if you can do that without needing to pay more money, that's great. That's how I feel about that car. And that's how I feel about VTXs like this as well. So anyway, okay. When digital is getting cheaper than analog, it's a good step forward. And is the Beta VTX aimed at whoops or 3-inch frames? I would say you might be able to put it into a 2-inch lightning frame. It's about the same size as our Caddx 1S boards that we used to have. Crazy Rooster saying Corollas were great from that era. Yeah, it is cool. It is cool. Like, here's another part about my car. Like, I've got the remote doesn't really work, so I've got to like unlock it with a key. Be like, hang on, guys, I've got to. People nowadays are like, what is that man doing with those like keys in the car? Why do his windows go down awkwardly like that? So there we go. Maybe I wouldn't say a man of culture, but a man of an old broken down car that I still have I enjoy driving that old dodgy car around. It's great. You can park it. I don't care if someone's going to like open their door into it. Like I still care a little bit, but like, oh well. But if I had a really fancy, expensive car, that's not for me. I'm not that sort of person. How future-proof the items is should be a factor in the review. That's from License to Drive. Absolutely, I agree. And that's where, back to this, less more about my my financial life. But this, if we could get a VRX, would be a big step forward. Because at the moment, you can only fly this around with these goggles right here. So yeah, if we could like change that, get a VRX, which I think is coming. And we'll have to wait and see. Like, this is all, like, not rumor, but like there is talk about, yeah, we're going to release a VRX. Wait until that happens. At the moment, I'll be reviewing it, and I will be taking note that this is only with this FPV headset, the VR04. To be honest, it's not the comfiest headset. It doesn't actually feel as good, but I really like the link. The quality of the link in here is the part that I'm excited for, that I think people will get a lot out of it in the future. And then Kiz says, price means nothing. It's about what suits the user. I am good friends with T-Dog Neon and some of the best FPV pilots in the world, and they still surprise me with their setup. Do you mean that they fly like a cheap setup or whatever works for them? They don't always have the best of the best? All right. The last thing that I should talk about is this. I mentioned this at the start. Like, my FPV channel, like UAVfutures, is not sponsored in any way. I have no brand loyalty to any company out there at all. I couldn't care less whether you buy a product from them or their competitor. What I care about is that you buy the best product for you. You have some accurate information so you can have the best time. Like my saying, it's not about having the best gear, it's about having the best time. But I do have a bit of a bias and a financial obligation to disclose this, that I have a relationship with Central Coast Coffee. So like every month or whenever I run out of coffee, I shoot them a message, and shout out to Reese. He sends me the best coffee in Australia. So that's there. If you're ever like, Stuart, you sponsored Shill, you know, yeah, you're right. I'm saying that this is the best coffee out there, but they send it to me for free. But you just have to believe me when I say it really is the best coffee. I love it. I love it. And I understand too, I was talking about this the other day. I don't think the rest of the world is the same about coffee as we are here in Australia. In Europe, if you probably want a coffee, you're probably going to go down to your barista and say, yo, can I have this coffee, please? In America, it looks like you just drink mud straight out of the pond when you've got those big things of black water. I would barely call what you Americans drink actual coffee. Most households here in Australia have a dedicated espresso machine. It's like you have your toaster and your coffee, and it will grind the beans, and like it will do everything for you and create an espresso. Does that happen in the rest of the world as common as it does here? I feel like it's as common as a toaster here in Australia, or the kettle in Britain. It's not about having the best cup. It's about having the best coffee. Yeah, that's a good one. And with a cup like this from Phaser FPV, because Phaser FPV is actually the sister store of Central Coast Coffee. Phaser does a lot for our drone community. They've been around a long time. What flavor? This is from tasting notes. It's got a little bit of mandarin, some Zilky Zococo chocolate, a lovely balance. I've got a couple of different versions actually, depending on where the beans are from. I think they're roasted here in Australia, but of course you can get beans from all over the world. The country of origin of the beans of this one, because you can't grow coffee, there's like a coffee belt around the world. They originate in Papua New Guinea, which is just north of where Australia is, very, very close. One of our neighbors, actually. Yeah. The good stuff. The real coffee. If you ever, this is a shout out to anybody out there, if you ever make it over to my place, you can say, Stu, can I have one of those delicious Central Coast coffees? Yeah, I absolutely will make it. It'll be my pleasure. Is it really expensive in the land down under for an espresso machine? That's from the Duke. If I put this into, I'll put it in freedom dollars. It's about 350. You will probably spend, I'm guessing here, because there is cheaper. I'm just talking middle of the road. Like, this is your Radiomaster Boxer. So I'm getting the Boxer equivalent of a coffee machine. You're probably looking at $350 for an espresso machine. And yeah, that's probably in most houses, next to their toaster, next to the kettle, next to the microwave, and then you're going to have an espresso machine in your house. So License to Drive says, you're talking a foreign language to me. I can't stand coffee. Yeah, I was kind of the same way. I didn't drink coffee until I met my wife, and she would make one every single morning. And now I'm like, that's the first thing I will have when I wake up. I guess that doesn't sound healthy. I'm definitely hooked. All right, I am rambling about coffee, about like buying Toyota Corolla cars and some 20-year-old winding down the windows by hand, all that sort of stuff. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, the most important part out there, and even if this just reaches one person, I would like to let you know, all jokes aside, if this is hitting your eardrum, sending this signal, you right now, sending that signal to your brain, you could be scrolling on your phone. You could be soldering a drone. You could be making an espresso coffee. Just to let you know that wherever you are around the world, I do care about you. You are valued. You are cared about. You are not alone. You are not isolated. You are seen and you are heard. And I'm so grateful that you are here and you deserve to have a good life. You are a good person and I'm really proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you being part of this community. And thank you. All right. I would just like to say you guys are amazing. Do you get anxiety for a Whoop event and skip it? I think that's, I'm not too sure who Play is referring to there. Please don't go and skip your FPV events. Everybody is so awesome, amazing, and supportive. I sometimes feel like that too. If I have to go to a party or something, especially if I don't know too many people, this is not FPV related, I'll be like, play some scenarios like, man, I don't know if I'm going to have a good time here. And usually on the drive home, like, oh, that was an absolute blast. I had so much fun there. That was fine. And it's all been in my head. So, all right. You guys are incredible. I'm proud of you. Thank you so much to all my patrons, to all my members who are here. They're all the amazing people with the green names. You should have some bonus videos you can go and watch if you would like to become a member. That should be that little join button just down below somewhere right here. I will see you in the next couple of days. I got some videos coming out. I got a lot of work to do, actually. Some really exciting, fun videos. And other than that, I usually say subscribe for more FPV related content, but I just want to say you're amazing. All right, see you guys. Happy Flyer. Make sure you email me. I want to shoot you an email, please. Happy Flyer RC. That would be cool. Thank you. UAVfutures@gmail.com.